to very likely impeach Donald Trump a second time. I kid you not. Because of what happened at the Capitol building when these idiots, these protesters, these rioters, call them what you want, went to the Capitol building and attacked it. Did President Trump incite an insurrection, warning him to be impeached yet again? Let me read you part of what the president said. Quote, "We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country, Our country has been under siege for a long time, far longer than this 4-year period. We've set it on a much straighter course, I thought 4 more years, I thought it would be easy. Now, I told you before, I thought that the effort was going to fail, that the president was creating expectations that were not likely to be realized. But I watch a lot of CNN. I watch a lot of MSNBC, so you guys don't have to. And before Wednesday, that Tuesday, did any of the hosts, any of the pundits say, hey, I tell you what, Capitol Hill Police, Metro Hill Police, National Guard, you guys better be ready because these guys, these Trump supporters, they're crazy. They could trash the Capitol building. You have no idea what nobody said that. Don Lemon hates Donald Trump supporters. He didn't say that. Chris Cuomo, to whom he hands off the baton on CNN, hates Donald Trump supporters. He didn't say that. I cut over to MSNBC, the loons over there. Nobody said, this gathering that Donald Trump is encouraging in the Capitol tomorrow, this could very well become very violent. You know how these Trump people are. They're very, very violent. They said nothing like it. You know why? Because past Trump rallies have not produced this kind of violence. So if anything, the people on the left were stereotyping Trump supporters as peaceful. That's why the Capitol Hill Police was caught off guard. That's why the Metro Hill Police caught off guard. Now, don't get me wrong. These were thugs. Call them rioters. Call them whatever you want. I don't care. Prosecute them. But to say Donald Trump incited an insurrection, which is what Jim Acosta said. You ever heard of something called, let me think of it, I can't think of it, Mr. McConnell, help me. First Amendment. I thought of it. First Amendment. Gives people a right to free speech and gives people a right to peaceably assemble. Quote, "We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard," end of quote. That's what the man said. And now he's being impeached again? Did you say anything when Hillary for 4 years used the S word? That's right, the S word, stolen. The same word Trump used on Wednesday. For 4 years. He knows he is an illegitimate president. He knows the election wasn't on the level. Did you say anything?
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. And I take responsibility for those parts of it that I should. But, Jane, it was like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. And so I know that he knows that this wasn't on the level.
Election not on the level. He's illegitimate. Now, Trump has been banned from Twitter because his tweets have the potential of risk of further incitement. Risk of further violent incitement. That's what it said. Twitter did. So for Hillary to refer to him as illegitimate for 4 years, does that risk incitement of violence? Referring to a democratically elected president as fraudulent, illegitimate? Was her Twitter account shut down, even though she claims that Russian interference altered the results of the election? Never mind Jay Johnson, former Homeland Security, said no such thing.
You warned that they were going to do so.
I was very concerned that they would do so, which is why I kept issuing all these public statements. Yes, sir.
All right. At the time you separated from service in January of 2017, you have seen no evidence that the Russians were successful at changing voter tallies or voter totals.
Correct.
78% of Democrats, because of people like Hillary referring to the president as illegitimate, having gotten elected because of the Russians, believe that but for Russian interference, the man would not have been elected. Jay Johnson never said anything like that. Good Trouble, John Lewis, same thing. Now, Hillary's Twitter account, to my knowledge, is still there. Give you another one. Harry Reid, 2012, stands on the floor of the Senate and knowingly lies. We know he knowingly lied because after he got out of office, he said he knowingly lied and said Mitt Romney has not paid taxes in the last 10 years. Let him prove that he hasn't paid taxes because he hasn't. Flat out lie. Harry Reid, out of office, asked about the lie on CNN. Yeah, well, he didn't win, did he? Harry Reid is still alive, as is his Twitter account. There is a journalist named Ron Fournier. Ron Fournier was the Washington, D.C. bureau chief of the Associated Press. He publicly said George W. Bush, quote, lied us into the war in Iraq, end of quote. That so ticked off the co-chair of the Rob Silberman Commission, former judge Lawrence Silberman. He contacted Ron Fournier and said, why do you keep saying this? This is undermining confidence in our country. It can give strength to our enemies. And Ron Fournier said, well, intelligence is a craft. It's not really a science. He said, I was co-chair of the commission. We looked at the intel. The intel was dead wrong. His term, not mine. But nobody lied. Yet you keep saying this. Silberman wrote an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal, called it a dangerous lie that undermines confidence in our country. Ron Fournier still has a Twitter account. Hasn't been shut down, even though that lie undermines our confidence in our military. Does it risk incitement to refer to our president as having lied us into the war? What, he wanted to wear camouflage, wanted to avenge the attack on his daddy? These people still have their Twitter accounts. But Donald Trump, for exercising his First Amendment right, out. I'm Larry Elder.